Hello, my name is Sutita Chamrat from the Faculty of Education, Chiang Mai University. I want you to think about something for a second. What really makes a great teacher? Is it just something they're born with, or is it something that's carefully built over time? Well, we set out to answer that by following a group of chemistry teachers for 8 years. And what we found, well, it just might change how we think about training the educators of tomorrow.
All right, here's a quick roadmap for our journey today. We'll start with the unique challenge of teaching chemistry, then look at a framework for learning, dive into our 8-year study, uncover the transformations we saw, and finally talk about what this all means. Let's jump in.
Okay, first things first. What's the core problem we're really trying to solve here? All teaching is hard work, but chemistry, it has its own special set of hurdles.
And having high-quality chemistry teachers is absolutely crucial. They're not just explaining the periodic table, they're the ones inspiring the next generation of scientists and innovators. But their job is incredibly tough. They have to take these really complex, often invisible concepts and somehow make them click for students.
So if you want to track how a teacher grows, how do you even begin to measure that? We needed a map, a kind of lens to see their development clearly. And for that, we turned to a really powerful theory about how we all learn.
We leaned on Kolb's experiential learning theory. Now, the big idea here is that real learning isn't just about memorizing facts. It's a whole cycle of 4 things: feeling, watching, thinking, and doing. And most of us tend to have a preference, which gives us one of 4 main learning styles.
First up, we have the divergers. These are your feeling and watching people. Think of them as the creative brainstormers in the room, the ones who are great at looking at a situation from all sorts of different angles.
Then there are the assimilators. They prefer thinking and watching. These are the logical thinkers, the theorists, who just love to take in a lot of information and organize it into a neat, tidy model.
Third, we have the convergers. Their focus is on thinking and doing. They're the practical problem solvers. You give them an idea and their first question is always going to be, okay, but how can I use this?
And finally, the accommodators. They learn by feeling and doing. These are the hands-on experimenters, the ones who learn by jumping in and trying things out, relying on their intuition.
Okay, so with these 4 styles as our guide, we started our investigation. We really wanted to see if, and how, these teachers might shift between styles as they grew from students into professionals.
And this wasn't just a quick snapshot. No way. We followed 13 pre-service chemistry teachers for 8 full years, from their very first year in the program right through to after graduation when they were in their own classrooms. This long-term view was absolutely key.
To get the whole story, we used a whole toolbox of methods. We had the Kolb inventory for the quantitative data, of course, but we also did deep, semi-structured interviews to hear their personal stories. We looked at their lesson plans and journals, and we even did classroom observations to see it all play out in the real world.
So, after all that time, after all that data collection, what did we find? This is where the story gets really compelling, because some very clear patterns of transformation started to emerge.
The question at the absolute heart of our study was this: did the 5-year teacher education program actually change these people? Did they approach teaching and learning differently by the time they finished?
Now check this out. This chart tells a huge story. The dark bars are year 1, the light bars are year 5. Just look at the convergers, our thinkers and doers. Their numbers were cut in half. At the same time, the accommodators, the hands-on feelers and doers, nearly doubled. The trend is crystal clear. Over time, the teachers moved away from theory and toward more practical, hands-on approaches.
But a big picture trend like that doesn't tell the whole story. And that's what's so powerful about this next image. Each single line you see here is the unique journey of one teacher. And as you can tell, it wasn't a straight line for anyone. It was complex, it was dynamic, some people changed a lot, others shifted back and forth. It really proves that development is a deeply personal process. And from that beautiful complexity, 3 main types of development emerged. We had the transformers, who made that huge, significant shift toward hands-on teaching. Then there were the flexibles, who became masters of adapting their style to what the situation called for. And finally, the reflective cores. They kept their main style, but got much better at bringing practical methods into their work.
So we get to the most important part. What does this all mean? Why does understanding these different paths matter for how we train teachers in the future? This is where the research really hits the road.
Here's the major takeaway. Teacher education programs have to be deliberately designed to cause this shift toward practice. It's not enough to just give them theory. The curriculum has to actively push them to prepare them for the adaptive, hands-on, real-world demands of the classroom.
And this quote from our conclusions really captures the essence of it. It's saying that the design of a curriculum does so much more than just teach subjects. It fundamentally shapes who a person becomes as a teacher. It builds their very professional identity.
Which leaves us with this final thought. If we can map this journey with all its twists and turns, doesn't that mean we have the power to build a better road for future teachers to travel? We can design programs that don't just transfer knowledge, but that intentionally guide their transformation into the kind of reflective, adaptable, and inspiring educators that our students so deeply deserve. Thank you.